Curse painting tier list. Let's do it. The Rain Woman. The Rain Woman is a painting by Ukrainian artist Svetlana Telets. Apparently she felt like she was being possessed when she was painting it after feeling like she was being watched for 6 months straight. The painting has changed hands many times, but each buyer would feel like they were being stalked by some unknown figure, almost like a ghost haunting them. I think it's just a story to help upsell it, honestly, like literally all of these paintings, but I do like the painting. The facial features are elongated to create an unsettling feeling as well as to emphasize the downward motion of the rain. Despite most of the images of the painting on the internet being relatively low-res, like seriously, I can't find a picture of it that doesn't look like it was photographed on a N-gauge. But besides that, it is a rather striking image. The muddy grays and blues really accentuate the somber tone, you know? So overall, I kind of like it, but I don't love it. A tier. The Anguished Man. The Anguished Man is not a curse painting of any kind. It is simply part of an ARG. This painting, however, is pretty badass. I like it a lot. I mentioned this before in the iceberg video I did prior. The oranges and reds contrast nicely with the blue background being complementary colors. The man in the painting certainly looks anguished, almost like this is the aftermath of one of the victims of a wartime explosion or something like that. The lighting is very consistent and the texture on the man's skin definitely sells the agony of the subject. Love this painting, cursed lore aside, you know? I think it stands on its own. S tier. The Hands Resist Him. The Hands Resist Him is also not a curse painting. This one actually has some interesting real-life lore. The artist Bill Stoneham painted this in 1972. Being a full-time artist, of course stuff gets sold and passed from buyer to buyer. That's just the nature of this business. You can sell a piece to someone in America and see it pop up for sale all the way over in another continent years later. So the Hands Resist Him popped up on eBay in 2000. The seller said it was haunted and the characters would move around and leave the painting in the middle of the night. That was, for all intents and purposes, effectively bullshit. The eBay seller did make over $1,000 on it though, because ooh, it's haunted, cool, let me buy it. Honestly, like I said a little while ago, I do believe this curse painting nonsense is just a marketing tactic. I mean, I guess it works sometimes. Anyway, lore aside, I think this painting is pretty solid. So far better than the Rain Woman, but not as good as the Anguished Man. The hands in the window do give a creepy feel to the painting, but the real spooky factor is definitely the puppet girl. Dummies creep me out, dude. That and androids. Honestly, anything that hits that uncanny valley, you know, where things look 99% human, but that 1% just tickles your brain in an alarming manner, you know what I'm saying? That's the stuff I find scary, personally. Anyway, the light in this painting is quite harsh, which makes the hands in the dark window almost appear as if they're coming from some other world, which I believe was the intent. The anatomy and the perspective is fine. The figures being off to one side emphasizes the focal point on the boy's face being framed by the window pane, which lead your eye to the creepy doll girl, and then you see the hands in the window. Overall good composition, but that bit of grass in the bottom of the painting is making me nuts. I would have cropped that out. A tier. Okay, so we got a 2-for-1 on this next one because I'm not sure which one of the articles are referring to. Death and the Child and Dead Mother and Child, both by Edvard Munch. You know this artist, The Scream. Anyway, the little girl in the painting is said to follow your movement when walking by it with her eyes, but that's just a perspective thing. A lot of paintings do that. There's also reports of owners hearing the mother's bed sheets moving around or the girl disappearing from the canvas. Nah, bullshit. As for ranking, I hate both of these paintings. They're garbage. Death in the Child has objectively bad perspective, and I hate how messy the paint strokes are. My problem isn't the impressionistic feel, it's the weird mix where it looks like he was trying to render in a more realistic fashion, but gave up. Dead Mother and Child lean more into the impressionistic approach, but somehow the perspective is better. I'll be honest, I'm biased. I was never a big fan of the impressionist movement, and Munch in particular, but it's my tier list, I can shit on it. Should also note that in Death in the Child, the mother's bed and the girl's head create a tangent. The composition is overall better in Dead Mother and Child, but the lady in the background with the missing hand is annoying the hell out of me. So, D tier. No, you know what? Fuck that. F tier. The Crying Boy is yet another painting that actually isn't haunted. They said it was haunted because it survived multiple fires, but the thing is, this particular painting was just coated in a flame-resistant varnish. Now, there are 2 paintings of the Crying Boy. I'm not sure which one's which, but Honestly, my thoughts are the same on both of them. They're fine. They're both just realism paintings of a crying boy. They're solid. Not something I'd hang on my wall. Like, who would want to hang a picture of a crying child on their wall anyway? As for technical analysis, they're rendered and lit accurately with anatomical correctness. Nothing groundbreaking or interesting in my opinion. Kind of boring. C tier. I Can't Be a Bride Anymore. I Can't Be a Bride Anymore is also not a cursed painting. It's just attached to a creepypasta called Tomi Knows Hell, which was actually a poem. Yuko Tatsushima is the artist, and she's awesome. I love her stuff. There's actually a pretty good video by Blind Dweller on her work. Check it out. I'll link it in the description. Anyway, this piece shows a tall woman with an elongated neck and popping eyes. There's a heavy use of red and a scratchy texture to the whole thing. Despite looking a bit random, the scratchy textures feel very deliberate, and the figure is perfectly framed in the center. This piece is very monochromatic, save for the white kimono, or is that a yukata? I don't know, I'm not sure. I enjoy Japanese stuff, you know, but I'm not one of those Reddit weirdos that know every little detail about Japan. Anyway, it's a really striking piece, you know, especially when it's a vertical presentation, very long and tall, you know, S tier. Love it. Pogo the Clown. Pogo the Clown is a self-portrait from infamous serial killer John Wayne Gacy. I actually already covered this painting in the Dark, Weird, and Controversial Artist Iceberg, so as for the curse, aside from being created by a piece of shit, the person who purchased it had a string of bad luck. Purchaser Nikki Stone, who paid $3,000 for it, by the way. Jesus Christ. He had his dog die and his mother get cancer shortly after buying it. He gave it to a friend to keep whose neighbor died in a car crash, and then the next person who held it attempted to off themselves. It was stored with an art dealer, and I'll be honest, I just read you the Wikipedia entry. Fuck this guy. I'm not researching any further. He was a piece of shit and his art is shit too. The colors are ass, the anatomy of the hand is wrong, the trees are mid, and the balloons create a bit of a tangent with the tree on the left and the puffballs or whatever's on Gacy's hat. F tier. Fuck this guy. Love Letters. Love Letters is actually a replica painting of a Charles Trevor Garland by artist Richard King created around 1990. So this is a painting that hangs in a place called Driscoll Hotel in Texas. The actual hotel itself is rumored to be haunted. I believe people just attributed the curse to the painting because a little girl fell to her end on the grand staircase there. Overall, I think this is a solid realism painting. The composition is very center focused, so it's a bit dull in my opinion. It's just a little girl with a letter and some flowers. It's fine, I guess. Forgive me, but I'm not the best at critiquing realism. The light's consistent and the anatomy is correct. The fabric of the dress is well rendered and the flowers look good. Not much else to say. I like the pattern on the curtain. B tier? Novia. Novia, also referred to as Portrait of a Lady, first title translated to English meaning My Girlfriend, is a painting by artist Juan Luna. The painting is believed to either be a model Luna used frequently named Angela Douche. Douche? Duce? Her name is Douche? Anyway, or his wife Paz Pardo de Tavera, who he would later go on to murder. Yeah. People say the painting is possessed by Paz's spirit and it brings misfortune to owners. It should be noted that at a 1987 exhibition where the painting was displayed in the Metropolitan Museum of Art, the bulb over the painting exploded. Is it haunted? I don't know, probably just a coincidence.
There is no such thing as a coincidence. The fact that you're watching this video means you're energy.
Okay, guess not. Anyway, I think the painting's okay. Again, we're in the realm of realism, so not really my wheelhouse, but I think it's well composed. Do think having her leaning into the frame is a more interesting composition than Love Letters or The Crying Boy. Really soft lighting doesn't make it pop enough in my opinion, and the still life scene in the corner feels like it's just filler to negate empty space, almost a careless afterthought. The anatomy is good though. Kind of a mid painting in my opinion. C tier. Like a high C. Arshile Gorky. The paintings of Arshile Gorky are weird, man. These paintings, created from 1904 to 1938, have a history of bizarre behavior, falling from walls, fires, and most notably being visited by ghosts. I don't know about all that, but there is one very notable incident. In 1962, American Airlines Flight 1 was transporting some of his paintings and crashed. No one survived. Now that we're done with the lore, what about the art? I mean, it's got a style. That's for sure. I mean, I believe these would fall under the abstract expressionism movement, where things aren't exactly intended to look like they do in real life, but not necessarily as abstract as something like a Willem de Kooning. At least the ones that are said to be cursed. He did do some straight abstract pieces that look like a bootleg Wassily Kandinsky, in my opinion. I prefer his paintings of people, you know, I can at least tell those are his. I can also say that he most likely found hands very hard. I don't love them, but I don't hate them either. Low B, high C. Man proposes, God disposes. Man proposes, God disposes is a title I had to say 4 times before I got it right. Holy shit. Anyway, this painting is a painting that I'm not going to say again because the title is hard to say. It's a tongue twister. Jesus Christ. It's a painting by Edwin Landseer that hangs in the Royal Holloway College. There's an urban legend that a student took their life with a pencil, writing on his exam paper that the polar bears made me do it, which is bullshit, didn't happen. And apparently it's a bad omen, making students that sit near it fail tests, so much so that the college covers it up when it's exam time. Anyway, curses aside, this painting is badass, dude. The visceral devourment of these campers in the Arctic by these polar bears would fit right in on some death metal album art. The painting is interesting because of its girthy width. Very girthy. You don't really see too many horizontally long paintings. The composition leads your eyes across the polar bear pulling on the cloth on the left, straight to the one gnawing on the bone on the right. The Arctic temperature is accentuated with all the blues and grays. The setting allows for the blood to create a high contrast. The use of atmospheric perspective pushing the glaciers in the background far away really emphasizes the hopelessness and emptiness of the barren north. Love this painting. S tier. Portrait of Bernardo de Galvez. This is a portrait of Bernardo de Galvez. It hangs in Hotel Galvez. This alleged curse is just kind of silly. It doesn't photograph properly unless you ask it for permission. Weird, right? Anyway, I think it's fine. I think the artist did Bernardo dirty with those eyes though. Like, look at these things. It's got a cool sailboat in the background, and I like sailboats. It's another realism painting that is outside of my wheelhouse, so I don't have much to offer in critique. Aside from the wonky eyes, the anatomy looks acceptable. I mean, the framing's kind of cool, you know, with like the writing down there and a little bit of a border he did. Not really mind-blowing or anything. I don't know, the pose looks kind of stiff. C tier. Portrait of Henrietta Nelson. Portrait of Henrietta Nelson is a painting by William Johnson. Henrietta here died tragically by falling downstairs. Lots of slippery stairs in this video. Beware of the slippery stairs. You can easily fall and break your neck. Nah, honestly, I'm just probably going to walk downstairs a bit more carefully for the next few days, just to be sure. Anyway, she was buried in a mausoleum on her property, but the new owners moved her remains, so apparently her spirit found a new home in this painting. People say her facial expression changes, and looking at it from different angles, it would appear so, but once again, we have some perspective trickery going on. As for reviewing the painting, I like it. I don't know if I love it. I do think anatomically her head was rendered a bit too large compared to her body, and the fingers on her left hand holding the roses are looking a bit off. I do like the blue dress. Very elegant. Also, ladies, please bring back these Victorian hats. I love them. They're so extra. Do people still say that? Extra? I don't know. I can't keep up with you damn kids. I'm too fucking old. The chair seems a bit wide, and the mirror feels like once again we have a bit of a filler to negate the empty space. You know, not really all too well thought out. I don't know, you could put something else there. Overall, I do like the painting. I'll give it a high C, maybe low B, like a B minus. The Stagecraft and the Hanging Man. The Stagecraft and the Hanging Man is a painted recreation of a photo by photographer James Kidd sometime before 1994. The painter has only been identified as Laura P. When the photo was developed, a ghostly figure of a headless man appeared in it. Laura P. was compelled to do a painted recreation of this photo. Typical haunted painting stuff. The painting refused to hang straight, bad luck and weird stuff happened where it hung, yada yada yada. You know the spiel by now. Anyway, as a painting, I don't like it. The Stagecoach is what that wagon is called. I don't know where Stagecraft came from. It's fine, whatever. It looks like a stagecoach to me. Yeah, so the stagecoach looks like a stagecoach, so good job there. The figure on the left of it creates a tangent, mostly due to the whole headlessness thing. The barn in the back looks really lifeless and not in the spooky way, more so in the routine development way, like, you know, by the numbers. It's honestly just not doing it for me. I don't know what kind of paint Laura P used, but the colors are super bland, you know, really, like, desaturated. The trees, while based on a photograph, seem kind of random. You know, when you recreate a photograph in painting form, you can alter things, right? I don't know, just not feeling it. D tier. Anyway, that was my curse painting tier list. Like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTuber stuff. Let me know what curse paintings you like, and make sure you tune in next time. But before you go, let me just say thank you for watching this video.